Welcome to the fastest, most mind-bending book summary this side of the Milky Way. In the next few minutes, we're diving deep into Mickey7, a story that's basically Groundhog Day meets The Thing. If Bill Murray could 3D print new bodies and had a serious case of existential dread. Ready? Let's go. Picture this. You're deeply in debt, desperately need a fresh start, and the only job offering to clear your credit score requires you to die. Repeatedly. Welcome to the life, or should I say lives, of Mickey Barnes, humanity's most sophisticated respawn button with a pulse. He's what's known as an expendable, the guy who does all the stuff that would make an OSHA inspector have a heart attack. Need someone to test if that alien fruit is poisonous? Call Mickey. Need someone to check if that mysterious cave is full of deadly radiation? Mickey's your man. Need someone to walk into certain death because plot convenience? You get the idea. Currently serving as Mickey7. Yes, that means he's died 6 times already, and each death was probably more embarrassing than the last. Our protagonist is stationed on Niflheim, a frozen wasteland of a planet that makes Antarctica look like a tropical resort. The colony's motto might as well be, if the cold doesn't kill you, something else will. But hey, at least the view is white. Very, very white. Now, let's pump the brakes on the humor for a moment, because this is where things get interesting. And by interesting, I mean absolutely reality-bending, on what should have been just another routine mission. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. Mickey7 falls into a deep crevasse and is presumed dead. Standard operating procedure kicks in, and the colony prints Mickey8, complete with all the memories up to Mickey7's last backup. There's just one tiny problem. Mickey7 didn't actually die. He survived, dragged his frozen behind back to the colony, and now there are 2 Mickeys walking around. In a world where duplicate consciousness is considered an abomination, this is about as bad as it gets. Think about it. 2 identical copies of the same person, with the same memories, same personality, same terrible sense of humor, but slowly becoming different people as they accumulate new experiences. It's like the world's most complicated twin situation, except instead of arguing about who wore it better, they're arguing about who has the right to exist. But this isn't just a story about identity crisis on steroids. As our 2 Mickeys try to keep their dual existence under wraps, because the standard protocol for dealing with duplicate expendables involves the word termination, and not the kind that comes with a severance package, they stumble upon something that makes their existential crisis look like a minor inconvenience. The indigenous life forms on Niflheim, nicknamed creepers by the colonists, real creative folks, aren't just simple organisms as everyone assumed. They're intelligent, they're organized, and they've been studying the humans just as much as the humans have been studying them. These creatures have developed their own fascinating theories about human consciousness, particularly about the nature of expendables. Imagine discovering that the simple life forms you've been dismissing have actually been conducting their own anthropological study of you. Talk about a reverse Uno card. The creeper's understanding of consciousness challenges everything humans think they know about identity and death. They view the human practice of creating expendables as both fascinating and horrifying, kind of like how we view reality TV shows. Their perspective forces our protagonists to question everything they thought they knew about their own existence. Are they really the same person? Does each death and resurrection chip away at something fundamental to their humanity? Is consciousness something that can be copied and pasted like a digital file? Or is there something more to it? As the story progresses, the stakes keep rising. The colony faces a catastrophic threat that could wipe out everyone, human and creeper alike. This is where having two Mickeys becomes less of a philosophical conundrum and more of a tactical advantage. Their identical memories but divergent experiences create unique opportunities for problem solving. It's like having the ultimate pair of collaborators who can finish each other's sentences because they literally shared the same brain until recently. The tension ratchets up as the Mickeys navigate their personal identity crisis while trying to prevent an interspecies disaster. They have to balance keeping their secret, protecting the colony, and figuring out their relationship with the creepers, all while questioning the very nature of their existence. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while juggling flaming chainsaws. On an ice planet, the story delves deep into questions that will make your brain do somersaults. If you die but a perfect copy of you continues living with all your memories, did you really die? If consciousness can be backed up and restored like computer data, what happens to the soul, assuming it exists? Is death what gives life meaning? Or is it just an inconvenience we haven't figured out how to permanently solve yet? As the colony teeters on the brink of disaster, the two Mickeys face decisions that will define not just their own fate, but potentially the future of human-alien relations and our understanding of consciousness itself. Their choices challenge our assumptions about sacrifice, survival, and the boundaries of human identity. It's like the trolley problem, but instead of choosing between tracks, you're choosing between versions of yourself. The brilliance of Mickey7 lies in how it takes these profound philosophical questions and wraps them in a story that's as entertaining as it is thought-provoking. It's like if Descartes wrote a sci-fi novel while having an existential crisis during a winter survival course. The story forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about identity and consciousness while keeping us on the edge of our seats. The relationship between the two Mickeys evolves in fascinating ways throughout the book. They start as identical copies, but gradually develop their own distinct perspectives and experiences. It's like watching a time-lapse of personal growth, except instead of one person changing over time, it's two versions of the same person changing in different ways simultaneously. Their dynamic raises interesting questions about nature versus nurture and how much our experiences shape who we are versus our inherent personality. The world building in Mickey7 is equally captivating. The colony on Niflheim feels real and lived in, with all the problems you'd expect from a group of humans trying to survive on a hostile planet. The technology is advanced enough to be amazing, but grounded enough to be believable. The Expendable system itself is a brilliant concept that explores how humanity might use technology to overcome the limitations of mortality and all the ethical complications that come with it. As the story reaches its climax, everything converges. The personal crisis of the Mickeys, the threat to the colony, the revelation about the creepers, and the deeper questions about consciousness and identity. The resolution challenges our assumptions about what it means to be human and what it means to survive. It suggests that perhaps the answer to who we are lies not in the continuity of our consciousness or the preservation of our memories, but in the choices we make and the connections we forge, even if those connections are with other versions of ourselves. Mickey7 isn't just another sci-fi novel. It's a mirror held up to our own assumptions about consciousness, identity, and what makes us who we are. It reminds us that in a future where death might become optional and consciousness can be copied like data, the real questions aren't about the technology itself, but about what it means for our humanity. And perhaps most importantly, it leaves us with the thought that maybe, just maybe, the thing that makes us uniquely ourselves isn't our memories or our consciousness or even our physical form, but the sum of our choices and the impact we have on others, even if those others happen to be copies of ourselves or alien life forms we barely understand. The book closes with implications that ripple far beyond its final pages, leaving readers questioning everything they thought they knew about identity, consciousness, and the nature of existence itself. It's the kind of story that makes you look in the mirror and wonder if you stepped into a teleporter that created a perfect copy of you at the destination while destroying the original. Would the person who steps out still be you? And more importantly, would it matter? Love science fiction and fantasy? Subscribe to Goblin Hammer for more quick book reviews. Thanks for watching.